Now, I've got a few announcements about 5 and 2 studios, which I'll share in just a moment. But stay tuned for that.
The Chosen fans, today is a good day for us. Dallas Jenkins just announced a bunch of spin-off series to The Chosen, confirming that the saga will continue for many years, even if The Chosen comes to an end. And yes, I'm more than excited. So, without further ado, let's dive in and see what's next in the Chosen universe.
Hello, hello, hello! We are about to give you some new projects that we have been developing. We've got a lot to talk to you about.
First and foremost, Jenkins is launching his new production company, 5 and 2 Studios, which he announced at the Chosen Con in Orlando, Florida. And of course, this was only the beginning of his announcement. When he explained his vision, our jaws were on the floor with both surprise and excitement. According to Jenkins, the company aims to produce Bible-inspired stories, but with a twist. Their focus is on authentic storytelling that connects with audiences on a human level. The goal is to produce Bible-inspired stories through uniquely human and authentic storytelling and audience engagement, he said about the company. Personally, I'm glad to hear this, as this means we can expect the same kind of deep, character-driven narratives in the new shows as well, which is the thing that made The Chosen a global phenomenon in the first place. Do you think the unique atmosphere of The Chosen can be achieved in other shows as well? Or was it a one-time shot for Jenkins, and he should leave it at that? Let me know what you think in the comments below. So, what projects are in the works? Well, to put it simply, a lot. First up is an animated series called The Chosen Adventures. Apparently, this series will offer a fresh, youthful take on the Jesus story, featuring voice actors like Paul Walter Hauser from Blackbird and Yvonne Orji from Insecure.
Oh, are you kidding me? We're just barely getting started.
I am so excited to finally be able to say to you that we have a new project.
The Chosen Adventures.
Set in the same time and place as The Chosen, the animated version will focus on Jesus' interactions with children he meets in the wilderness. Do you remember the 3rd episode of The Chosen Season 1, titled Jesus Loves the Little Children? Well, this new animation will basically be the extended version of this episode. Jenkins described it as a witty and fun series that adults can enjoy too. We thought there's something there, seeing Jesus through the eyes of kids. We really want to get this right, he said. It is great to see that they target not only the adults, but also the children with their projects. Do you think the Christian world is lacking when it comes to content targeting children? Can't wait to hear your thoughts on the subject. Next up is an exciting partnership with Bear Grylls for a 6-episode unscripted series called The Chosen in the Wild.
I'm struggling between jealousy and a man crush at the same time, so...
It is claimed that fans of Man vs. Wild will love this adventure-packed show, where Jenkins will be put through some survival challenges by Grylls himself. I've never watched Man vs. Wild before, but based on what Jenkins said about it, I believe it will be a fun one. He said, "For me as a rugged indoors man, I'm very scared about what I'm going to be subjected to, but I'm willing to take one for the team. To be honest, I wasn't expecting them to come up with shows that are not faith-based. But still, I'm glad they keep things open-minded. Plus, this will only be the beginning of the unscripted series Jenkins plans to produce under 5 and 2 Studios. Would you watch Jenkins' non-faith-based shows? Or are you solely interested in the faith-based ones? Let me know in the comments. Of course, their focus is mostly on faith-based shows still. For instance, Jenkins has big plans for a multi-season show about the life of Moses. You probably know that some of the former The Chosen cast members are currently starring in a show titled The Promised Land, focusing on Moses' life. However, this is a comedy series, so it is very lighthearted. Based on my understanding, Jenkins' version will be a more serious one, similar to The Chosen. There isn't a story in the Bible, possibly even including Jesus, that has more pop culture, historical moments, phrases, and imagery than the story of Moses, he said, explaining why he wants to tell this story specifically. He also compared Moses to a reluctant Tony Soprano, which is a brilliant comparison in my opinion, as they were both tasked with leading the largest family in the world, even though he didn't want to. Moses was always trying to give up power, and yet, he's the one that God chose to lead the biggest religious and cultural movement in history, Jenkins said. Apparently, this series will be divided into 3 seasons, covering the rescue from Egypt, the parting of the Red Sea, and Moses leading the Israelites through the desert. Jenkins admitted that after 7 seasons of The Chosen, he's ready to take on shorter projects, saying, "The Mothership show has made me realize I never want to do 7 seasons of anything again as long as I live."
Moses is an underqualified, forced to be surrendered man who is called by God to do things that he didn't ever see coming and that he wasn't qualified for. And so we have always identified with Moses from that regard. And as The Chosen has grown, the more and more that we experience life, we go, man.
I believe the show would begin with exploring Moses' birth and early life. Set against the backdrop of Egypt's cruel oppression of the Israelites, the show starts with Moses being placed in a basket in the Nile by his mother to save him from Pharaoh's decree to kill all Hebrew baby boys. I also expect the inner conflict of Moses, a man torn between two worlds, to be a central theme. Of course, I'm already more than excited about the portrayal of Moses' calling by God through the burning bush. Also, the confrontations between Moses and Pharaoh, building up to the 10 plagues, will probably be very epic, and I can't wait to see Jenkins' vision for these scenes. Plus, there is the parting of the Red Sea, which would be an interesting watch for sure. As you can see, this is the project that I'm most excited about. Seriously, you guys, I cannot wait for it. Which other biblical character would you like to see being explored in the Chosen universe? Can't wait to see your picks for the new The Chosen projects. Jenkins is also looking to expand the Chosen universe with a series about the Acts of the Apostles and a limited series about Joseph. Jenkins envisions these stories being told in a way that aligns with the tone and style of The Chosen. You know that Joseph, also known as Saint Joseph, is honored as the earthly father of Jesus and the husband of Mary in the New Testament. Although not much is written about him, he is an important figure in the Christian tradition. He is largely seen as the protector of Jesus. So, I'm not surprised to see that Jenkins chose to tell his story first, out of all the other biblical figures. In addition to these Bible-inspired series, Jenkins is also working on a feature film titled The Best Christmas Pageant Ever from Lionsgate, based on Barbara Robinson's beloved book. The film stars Judy Greer and Pete Holmes, and Jenkins promises it won't be your typical cheesy holiday movie. It's not just a cheesy kid slapstick Christmas movie, but I think it's for adults as well, Jenkins said. It's a nativity story for everybody. Which new project in the Chosen universe are you most excited about? Let me know in the comments. Now, you may ask, does this new company mean that the Chosen's financial system will be gone forever and we won't be able to access the series for free anymore? Well, both yes and no. If you didn't know, The Chosen is a crowdfunded project and is free and accessible to anyone and everyone. Well, Jenkins expressed that he is in talks with streaming services for potential partnerships, but remains committed to keeping The Chosen free for viewers. He said, "The mothership show will always be free. We promise that, and we'll never change that."
You might be wondering, before I announce all these projects, thinking, well, how is this actually going to be made? How is this funded? How are you going to remain who you are? And I just wanted to remind you and to reassure you, whether you're watching at home or here in this room, that whether our projects are funded by Come and See, whether they are funded by gift sales, or whether they are funded by a new streaming partner or a studio, regardless of who they are funded by.
So The Chosen will remain accessible, but for the rest of the shows, Jenkins cannot promise. To remain updated on the Chosen universe, make sure to like and follow. Watch the video on the screen to see the latest news on The Chosen Season 5.